Hello and welcome to Sparks, the podcast by the Cegos Group. We're an international leader in learning and development with over 15,000 specialists based in 14 different countries and working with some of the world's most exciting brands. My name's Milly Gladstone. I'm one of the senior L&D consultants here in our London office. And today, for this very special episode, I'm joined by two of my colleagues, Emily Link, one of our directors, and Lizzie Finch, who works in our marketing team. Welcome both.
Thanks, Mil.
I have to say, I'm feeling pretty left out that I don't have an England
Where's your
shirt on. I should have invested.
We'll buy you one.
I didn't know this was the dress code.
You can wear it all week with pride. That is the joy.
And they're being worn for a good cause this episode. We are here to talk about Sarina. Is she the coach, the manager?
Yeah,
The
manager.
both of those things of the Lionesses, who of course have just won the Euros.
Second time.
Yeah.
For the second
Should we have a moment
time.
for that?
Yeah. Well done, ladies.
Come on, Lionesses.
Well done.
That was a much more restrained response than my response on Sunday evening to us winning the Euros.
What was your
Yet again.
response?
I mean,
Were
you
you
don't
up on
want to
the
see it.
table?
So I run up to the camera and scream in it. Yeah. Captured on BBC.
Where were you watching it?
I was watching it in a brewery in East London that had kind of rented out.
Lovely.
Quite a few football clubs had come together to put on an event that was ticketed with like a band, etc. And I had to get there before the game because there was excitement building. And I knew as soon as the game came on, everyone would just go. And like, it would be quite silent. There would be a few nerves until, of course, the end, which was a big, big party.
Oh, it was nervous to watch.
Like
It
a
was
few of
nervous.
the
I
games
was
in the
nervous
tournament.
watching it. It's making me nervous
The
now,
actual
just thinking
stress.
back to it. We watched it in a pub, and my mum kept checking her heart rate on her Apple Watch.
Yes.
And in the extra time, she was like, "Oh, if it goes to penalties, I'm going to have to go home. I can't take it."
Did she stay and watch
then,
them?
of course, she did stay and watch them. But, oh gosh, what a tense
Eyes on the screen
couple
or
of
hiding
moments.
behind her hands?
A bit of both,
Yeah.
I think. I was definitely eyes on the screen, but it was, a bit of a mixture. Lizzie, where were you watching it?
Down the road.
Oh,
I was at the Hawk's Nest.
oh lovely.
And
Very
we was
nice.
with some friends, and then Ali came as well.
Nice.
But yeah, we were on the heart rate monitors on the watches, and it was Ali's was like up in like 110, and we were just sat doing nothing. Like
Stressful
Good
watch,
vibes, though.
but we did it.
Excellent vibes and a very exciting game to watch. But what we're here to talk about is, as we said, the manager, Sarina, probably some of her leadership approach, what she was maybe thinking during that final game. So let's get started with question number one to our super fans, both of you here. When it comes to Sarina, what do we know about her leadership style in general?
Shall we call her Queen Sarina
I
for
think
the episode?
it feels appropriate.
It does.
Yeah,
feel
because
appropriate.
in Sarina we trust. And so, of course, we probably haven't experienced Sarina's leadership firsthand, unfortunately, even though we would have loved to at various points.
Yes.
Having listened to a few podcasts and obviously seeing how the players speak about her, pre-tournament, after games, in press conferences, I think they really respect her. They have seen what she has achieved. So she was the Netherlands coach. So this is actually her third Euros win in a row. So she won with her home country, the Netherlands, then was recruited by the FA to come and lead the Lionesses, who at the time were kind of exceeding their potential because they hadn't had the full investment. Women's football wasn't really professional in this country until 2018. But they recruited Sarina and said, do you think you can take us all the way? Do you think you can take us to the finals? You've just done it with Netherlands. Can you come and do it for the Lionesses? And so I think she had respect from day one, but then I think also what the teams speak about in terms of her coming in, having clarity. She's Dutch. She says, if things aren't clear, I tell them it isn't clear. But every other time I try and give them real clarity on what we're trying to achieve and how we'll do it. And I think also from what I've understood, she's very good at connecting with people and building relationships. So she's clear in terms of a winning mentality, getting performance and driving that belief, but she builds the one-to-one relationships so that people also feel like they can trust her and she's honest with them. She's picking 11 to maybe 14, 15 players that are going to play one game with subs. There's a few people sitting out and there's people thinking they should start and aren't starting. But think, from what I understand, people always know where they stand and they feel she's very honest with them in terms of their performance and what she needs from them, even if they're coming on in the 70th minute, like Chloe Kelly, and going to change the game, for example.
Yeah.
I'll stop now, because I mean,
No, I
as you can see, I'm a super fan.
it's kind of similar to all the things I've listened to as well. Like that, I think clarity is like the biggest thing that comes up. I think it is because of the cultural. I think in one podcast I listened to, she said like, about the English and, being a bit indirect at times. But she's like...
skirting around some issues sometimes.
But actually, like, I think each person has their role and they know exactly what that role in the team is because she's just crystal clear about it. And I think, she really does try and connect to the players one-on-one and tries to actually like know them outside of football in their personal lives, get like all the context she can about them as a person. And then I think it helps it translate into the game when they're in those situations, they know they're in focus mode. I think she is just a ridiculously focused person. And I think, you can tell her watching the game, she never lets up. She never lets the pressure look at her, because I think if they knew that she was feeling the pressure, it's like, it's a rolling ball, isn't it? And it will just go straight back to them. But she's so calm and composed and just deals with things as and when they happen. And she just has her plans. She knows exactly if this is to happen, this is what we do next. And she just seems very composed.
Very composed, very stoic. She celebrates, like in the pens. I love that. But the ones that were missed or that were saved or whatever, she didn't kind of let on that she was upset or disappointed or, whatever she was feeling. So yeah, definitely you can see that on the pitch, the composure, the clarity comes through in the way that the players operate for sure. And the relationships as well, particularly at the end, on that final game last week, you could see the way that she celebrated with the team. She, had a chat with all of them. It wasn't just, like one high five and move on. It was personalised, considered. And even as she was walking up to the podium, when they have to do the handshakes across the line, the way that she stopped and chatted to everyone, it's obviously people that she's built relationships with and she knows. I think that really stood out to me as well as she moved along that line and shook all the hands. It wasn't just a handshake, it was often a hug and a bit of a chat. So that relationship building came through really strong. Which is interesting that we can actually see that what she's saying matches how she operates as well.
I think it's what she values. The first week she came into the Lionesses, she showed like a picture of her family and she gave a little bit of a story about her personal life. And I still think she talks about the best day in her life, her being like her 2 young daughters being born, not winning the Euros. Like it's actually, there are bigger things sometimes than football. So you can bring, even in these high pressure situations where the aim is to win and there's a lot of money on that kind of intention, but she's like, these are some of the things that matter to me, and the relationships and how we act together and the behaviours we kind of embody as a team, those also matter. And that's important. You see, she looks very, very authentic. Like, I don't think she just says it, I think she lives it. Yeah.
Agree. So why do you think she's been so successful in football?
I think one huge thing that from when you actually see all the players play and when like all the things we've listened and like read, she leaves so much room for the players to make mistakes. And she puts so much on. She'd rather the players just actually make a move and make some play and then just deal with the consequences later. And I think for them to be able to feel like if they make a mistake, it's not the end of the world. Like, it's absolutely fine. And the whole team and Sarina are going to have their back. I think it's so important for them to then be ambitious and strive to be the best and strive to do the difficult passes, because if it does pay off, the return is so much greater than if they just played it safe around the back.
Yeah, I think I've heard a very similar thing, that when she first came, she was like, no one's trying anything, even in training. Like, everyone's scared because like we're watching and what impact will that have? And she was like, my worst thing is that people don't feel safe to have a go and experiment and try and work out what's maybe not working and learn from that, even in big games, because that's ultimately what will get you the win.
Maybe keeping a bit of that fun in it as well. Obviously, sport, as you know, Em, from being a football player yourself, you're probably doing it
very similar levels to the Lionesses, may I add.
Were you in the FA Cup?
Yeah, I was going to say,
Shooting at Ashley Mills, just a little drop there. Let me just pick that up off the floor. No. But yeah.
But you play because you enjoy it, right? It's a sport that you like to have fun with. So it makes sense that if, they want to try something new, it should be a space where they can do that.
100%. And I think as soon as you forget to have the fun, like going back to Chloe Kelly, you could see she was enjoying playing football. And Sarina's also spoke that when they first came in and they rocked up to games and there was, maybe 5,000, 10,000, the numbers of supporters were growing, but the Lionesses were still coming out and just focusing on the game. And Sarina kind of stopped them and said, it's okay to go and wave to the fans, enjoy the moment. Like they've travelled the whole day to come and watch you. We're building a fan base and you're the stars of it. Because they were thinking, look, if we don't go out there and just concentrate, she thinks we're not focused on winning the game. But she was like, no, I want you to engage with the fans, have fun. I know as soon as the warm-up starts, you'll be 110% focused on the job that we need to do.
And I think they are that focused though, because she is that focused. And I think it's just that classic, plain and simple, leading by example. She is so driven, and she is like, you could just see like the difference in in the penalties, calm, composed, take it as it comes. As soon as they won, like an outburst of emotion. You saw it as well, like when she's not in like full on work mode, like on the stage when they were getting their trophy, had a little appearance when Burna Boy came on the stage. Like she was absolutely loving it. And I think it is that like her ability to like lead by example, be like, play hard when we do something well, celebrate with the fans, interact with people, but then work mode. This is our job. This is what we're here to do. And it's a clear, visible switch, I think.
Yeah. Boundaries.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
And all those things, plus she is like a tactical mastermind. Like I think like her ability to make the decisions in the moment, under pressure, work out maybe what's going. So she'll, like we've just talked about, give the team some responsibility to try and work it out. Let's say the final, it wasn't working. Like we weren't finding a way through. Spain had a lot of the possession, which she knew would happen. She also played a different starting lineup because it was a different opposition. So she's worked out with her technical team what needs to be the game plan. And then the games as they unfolded, we won it in a very different way to how we won the previous Euros. A lot more stressful as fans watching the games. But there were moments where she made the substitution at the right time. Everyone's calling for it, and then she makes it, and Chloe Kelly comes on and within like 3 minutes has made 2 crosses that have scored 2 goals and have got us back in the game. There's a note that gets passed out. I mean, what did the note say?
What did the note say?
Who knows? But there's obviously a lot going on. The halftime team talk in the final. Even Mills, you messaged me to be like, what did Sarina say in that dressing room? Because they've come out like a different team. There's obviously, as well as all the behavioural characteristics of focus and fun, she's also got an incredible footballing brain to work out where the opportunities are at the highest level of the game.
Did she play football?
Yeah, so she played football in the Netherlands when girls weren't allowed to play football. She cut her hair and would play like as a boy.
That actually makes me feel a bit emotional.
That's why they're so inspiring.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Insane.
That is, that is dedication.
She's been through it. She's been through the journey.
And maybe that is also like very relatable. Like we've had 2 previous male coaches who haven't led us to the same success. The Spanish setup have also had a very difficult leadership. There's a brilliant Netflix documentary about the kiss that changed the world after they won the World Cup.
Yep.
But that was the final with 2 women as the leaders of those 2 teams. And I don't know whether just relating and resonating to the experiences that maybe like people like Lucy Bronze, who didn't have a professional setup for their whole career. Like, I think there's something that the players probably take from, like, she kind of knows.
An understanding.
Like, and she realises how special this and privileged we are to have this moment playing in a Euros final.
Yeah. And they've probably grown with her as well, like you say, when she was coming in. It's probably when women's football was starting to take off a little bit. So they've been on that journey as coach or manager and team together as well a little bit.
Yeah.
So getting into the mind of Sarina now, which I think we're already doing pretty well. But what do you think she's like leading up to the Euros?
You know what? I listened to a very good podcast and I found it very interesting to hear how much kind of like self-work she does on herself.
Okay.
And like she's into like meditation, like journaling, like walking. So I think she's very good at like sorting herself out and then presenting her best self to the team. And I actually don't think she's that stressed. I heard I heard something that in the last Euros final, this was actually on the Happy Place with Fern Cotton.
Oh, yeah.
If you listen to that one, but the night before, I remember Fern saying like, did you sleep like before the fight? She was like, yeah. Like, what? And she was like, because I've done everything. She was like, I've done all the prep. I've done everything I can. Like, I do just feel good. And like, if I don't have a good night's sleep, I'm just going to be tired tomorrow. So, and I think she's very good at self-discipline and like knowing that her boundaries of making her feel good is what's going to impact the team. So she gets herself to that level. A bit calmer for her.
Yeah. Such a value, like that whole phrase of like putting your own oxygen mask on first.
Yes.
Because then you can do it for others. They need her to be that way, and she looks after herself so she can be the best version of herself. Like she's also performing at her highest level.
Yeah.
Whilst the team are also performing at theirs. So she needs to have that kind of self-regulation, self-management. She's also very family focused, it seems. Like she likes to kind of draw a line, you know, international football, I guess you have very intense periods of like going into camp. You might have throughout the season another opportunity where you come together a few times to play qualifiers, but it's not like the length of the Premier League where you're there day in, day out. So she kind of gets these very intensive periods and then kind of the rest, recover, be back with the family, some normality before you go again. Like, and I think she kind of probably works to those cycles very well, those boundaries.
Yeah, so intense focus and then a bit of rest and relaxation before you come back together again.
Yeah.
I think that's really interesting what you're saying as well about how she meditates and journals and does all of that kind of thing.
Interesting.
And that's probably why she's so calm on the pitch. And even to the point about, yes, of course I sleep the night before. It's like any goal that we set ourselves at work or in our personal lives. If you know you've done the processes, you've put in the work and the effort, actually, on the day.
You can't control fully the outcome,
you can't.
But you've done everything within your control.
Exactly.
To make it happen.
Yeah. So in this particular Euros, obviously we've said already it wasn't the easiest tournament for England.
Yeah.
And as you said, they won in a very different way.
They
to their
did.
previous Euros win.
Yeah.
And what do you think that required of Sarina? Obviously we've spoken about her kind of tactical thinking, putting in a different starting lineup and things like that. But what else do you think she was doing in the lead up to that game to prepare?
I think probably it would be very easy to like criticise how long, like there's been a lot of stats around how long the Lionesses were like in the lead for like their knockout games. And there was like only a fraction of times where they were like with the upper hand, like they had the goal in front. They were typically trailing and kind of not succeeding. And I think I was sitting there, you know, definitely in the dying minutes of like the Italy game thinking like, this is it. Now, this is it. I was pacing around thinking maybe if I change location, that might send a bit of luck, like getting super superstitious about it all. But I think she instills a lot of belief and will take, even if they've done a game the hard way, they've got the result. And there's things to, it's not just, of course, at that tournament are the best footballers in the world, like, but being able to perform under pressure and taking that as the lesson into the next game, knowing you will always do it. Like, I think lots of the players have said, like, we will always find a way.
Yeah.
Like, and even Sarina was probably reinforcing that message. And then the previous game was proving it again. And it's just using that as the launch pad. Because all of those teams, they all can play brilliant football on their day. But can you do it under pressure? And can you do it when the odds are stacked against you? And I think that's probably what she was taking as a lesson each time. So even when we're 1-0 down against Spain, she's probably like, they still believe we can do it. I still believe we can do it. We can do it. Like the belief was deeply embedded into them succeeding. Even if some of us were thinking, it's all over. We should always trust. In Sarina, we trust.
I managed to keep like that mindset.
Well
really
done, Lizzie.
until, like, that. But it was like the 90th minute.
Yeah.
And then like, what was it? Was it 8 minutes?
8 minutes of extra time.
So much
and it's
extra
like,
time. Okay, but like it really, those last few.
Yeah.
I thought we were gone.
Yeah.
No,
But we will always
did it.
find a way. Michelle,
Michelle.
whose surname literally means saviour of the nation in Ghanaian, which is...
Really?
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Wow.
Go.
Yeah. And so,
That's incredible.
She had belief in not just the team she was starting, but the people that came on that made an impact.
Yeah.
But she also talks a lot about like where everyone else that maybe didn't get an appearance, the team, like the wider technical team, they all played their role. She's very good at acknowledging and recognising
Really
that it's
good at
not just
that.
her And it's not just the goal scorer. There's a whole team behind this success, ultimately. Yeah. Yeah.
And even Michelle, because she was quite a last-minute addition to the squad, right? Because somebody else
19 years.
retired. I know. Insane.
Just
So
took it all
young.
in her stride.
Her facial expressions actually were the highlight of the game for me. Every time I looked at her, she was like...
Yeah.
Couldn't believe it.
When one of the Spanish players went down for a foul, and she was like, you play it back, and like, she hasn't even touched her. She's like, honestly, are you serious?
She's someone who seems very calm.
Very calm. Like when the ball landed to her for that equaliser, I think a lot of people would have been like, oh.
Yeah.
But stood up in the moment.
Yeah, but the belief was there, as you say.
Yeah.
So let's keep on that thread of belief. Obviously, it's been referenced by us quite a few times already in this podcast, but also from the sounds of it by the Lionesses themselves as well, and the way that they talk about the team and the squad and Sarina and the staff. How do you think she instills that in the team?
Big question. I think that a bit that we spoke about at the start about the kind of the personal relationships has a big part to play. I think the fact that she creates that like safe environment and actually like cares about the people, not just in a work sense as in football, but like in their family life as well. She takes that like vested interest in them as a player, and she, I think, very much makes them know why they're there, why they're in that team. I think Sarina as a person, if you got put in that team, you'd never be questioning, am I the right person or is it a mistake? Because the person she is she's just so incredible and like you said, tactical, and she has handpicked each one of those players. They are there for a reason, and I think she believes in them, and then they can go out and play the game that we know they can play.
A real sense of purpose, you know, why you're there, you know, why you've been picked for the team, you know what your strengths are and how you're going to play to them in the game. Interesting. Similar thoughts?
Agree, like complete, like personalised, like why you're here, I believe in you. But I think she's also created an environment where they believe in each other. I think an elite environment like that, it's very competitive. You're literally playing for each other's shirts. Like, so there's so many people that could play in the midfield, and then so many people, there's 3 goalkeepers, you know, like we had the fallout from Mary Earps pre-tournament. Like, I think what she's done is not just given, say Lizzie's on the team, well done Lizzie, but I believe in you. But even the people that play alongside you, like as a squad, we believe in each other and we're together, and we will only win this game together. Not if we start any sort of infighting or kind of malice around the fact that you've got the shirt and I should be playing in front. They really do trust that whoever's coming on or coming off, you're doing the job, and then you're being replaced by someone else who's equally going to do a job for you. They seem very well bonded rather than having like a star player. They've got many stars and like many people that are making them successful, like not just 1 or 2.
It's really interesting as well because obviously some of the players play in the Super League for different teams and probably play against each other.
Lots of them play at Arsenal. Let's go.
Let's
get it right. But no, you're right.
But there's probably moments as well where, you know, in other tournaments or other games, they have to play against each other.
Yeah.
And then they have to come and be together at part of a team. And as you say, have that trust of, you know, we might normally play against each other, but right now we're on the same team. How do you think that works? That's the one thing about football that does blow my mind a bit. As a competitive person, I think I'd struggle.
You're competitive. Yeah, I know you would.
With, you know, half the year playing against people and then the other half or whatever, you know, coming together and having to be on a team with them.
Yeah.
Do you think that's Sarina? Or do you think that's just...
I guess you have like an England identity, like that they're all connected by the fact that they're there to represent England, and then you have a club identity. And like fortuitously, some of them do play at the same clubs. I don't think that is advantageous. If you look at the Spanish team, it's essentially Barcelona, which is like so much time together playing football that when you come to these tournaments, you're like, well, I know how they're going to play. I play with them every week. So I think there's something, but your point around competitiveness, it's like suddenly when you're in a shared environment and you're under the England badge, it doesn't matter. It's like, well, we've got the best player that plays in that position from Chelsea, even though I play for Arsenal. I wish. But you've coming together and you're united and you've created that environment and that ethos and that vision for what you're going to achieve together. and you've spent that time together in the club setting, kind of undoes any of that elsewhere.
Yeah. I think it was Lucy Bronze in a post-match interview. I think it must have been after the Spanish game, and they kind of interviewed her and they said like, oh, like obviously you used like, how do you feel for Spain? Like you were in their position last year at the World Cup or year before the World Cup, and she was really empathetic about the way she spoke about it. And she said, I used to play with a lot of the girls in Barca and like even now at like the club level and stuff. And so like I think just in that post-match interview, you can see that, like, although the empathy is there, that people play for different clubs and you might be friends with different people. When you've got that shirt on, you're just in a role. You're playing for your country at that time, and it doesn't mean that you're not friends with the person. It just means you're trying to do the job you were given to do and do the best of your ability. And it's not that it's emotionless, but you have to take out that part of like, they're my friend, and you just do your role, do your job, and then after, when the game's over, you shake hands, you have a big hug, and there's a mutual understanding that it's just a game, and like that's why we're all united here for this game.
You're so right. I forgot it goes the other way as well, right? That you're probably playing against some people that you normally have to play with as well. Oh gosh, no, I can't. Football's not for me. That would be my fault. Where I fall
Competitive
down.
Milly Gladstone.
Not that I haven't got the skill for it, obviously, but the competitiveness.
I was just going to say one other. I wonder if one point also is relevant. Like, I think women's football, like, there's less of an allegiance to clubs. Like, people just support the game. Like, when you go to like what? So I was lucky enough to go to the last Euros final, because it was at Wembley. And the German and the English fans like sat together, and there's no like animosity, there's no violence. It's like a very family safe place because people support the game. And even people that don't love football support the Lionesses. Like, it's kind of transcended a sport. And it's become more of like, they're just incredible women doing incredible things, and that is inspirational. Like, even the Welsh players like made it to their first ever tournament, which is unbelievable given like they're kind of behind the curve in terms of investment compared to the English FA. But they're like going on to like support England in the semis and the final. Like, you see videos of them watching like England, because it's like football, like this is and this is also a nation investing in their sport to be successful. Look what they go and achieve. Come on, Wales, like invest in us, because we got to our first finals without all that investment. So I think there's just like being epitome of like, wow, they're doing incredible things. It's like a lot of respect for bringing people together rather than dividing and competing.
That's really interesting actually, because the pub that I was watching it in, there was a Spanish family that came in with their kids, and actually if it was probably a men's game, don't want to speculate, but it might have been a slightly different environment. I mean, even kids being there.
Two of my friends actually that were with me are Spanish, and like when it went to extra time and they were like, oh, I hope it's not penalties. I was like, well, we hope it's not penalties. And then she was like, we're terrible at pens. I was like, are you? Oh, maybe we've learned something then from our previous terrible run against Sweden, and maybe we're going to show up against you. I was like, okay, maybe we should play for pens now. And so that was good.
We want the pens.
Yeah, we want the pens.
So on that topic of the final game, where we were, how we were feeling, what do we think Sarina said at half-time? They're 1-0 down, back into the dressing room. Yeah, she comes in.
Yeah. I think she goes, you got this, girls. You got this.
Short and sweet.
Come on.
Yeah, then she leaves.
Off she pops.
I don't think she would have. So I think historically in football, or what is sometimes known as the hairdryer effect, like shout at people because then you'll get the response. I don't think she did any of that. No. I think she would have maybe not been as complacent, but I think she would have reminded them, she would have looked them in the eye and said, do you still believe? Because I still believe.
Well, that's good. See,
and there's 45 minutes left. Like we've played 45 minutes. We've learnt what's working. We've learnt what isn't working. You now have another 45 minutes and possibly some tactics in there too. But trusting them and still believing and reminding them of that fact, the game was not done. Far from done.
Yeah.
I think definitely some tactics, but I think that point, I think she would have, they were so close at that point. Had Russo made the equaliser, or was that going to come
afterwards?
In the second half? I think
so. It's obviously a good halftime team talk.
Yeah. But they're very good at coming back, and I think Sarina would have drawn on those other experiences they were in a much worse position in the Italian game.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she would have used that and been like, it's in you, you've got this. You just need to, like, they were so close to the trophy. And so it's like, just really like instilling that, like, you've done it before, you just need to give it your all for this last 45 minutes. Rest now, but just really go for it. And I think,
don't leave anything out on that pitch. I mean, Lucy Bronze revealing that she played the whole tournament with a fractured tibia.
That's just
And then when she got injured in that game and being like, I was like, there's no way she's going to come off. And it wasn't until the half time.
Like,
indicative of the football she's grown up in.
On one leg, wasn't she?
Until they were like, extra time and a half, they were like, you need to come off now. She was
but even then, she was kind of sat on the floor, and I was like, is she? But then she kind of went off, hovered on the sideline. I mean, we were like, is she going off? Is she going off? Ran back on the pitch. We were like, there she is.
They'd also played so many more minutes of football than Spain had, because they'd done 2 legs of extra time in the previous games. They were like the walking wounded. Like they came out of both those knockout games having scraped through, but like paid the price with injuries, like Leah Williamson, Lauren James, but still they were like, right, just put everything on the line. This is the last game.
Just keep going, have that belief. And I think it was really interesting as well. Again, we only see what the camera shows us, but in those few moments between the extra time and the few moments between the extra time and the penalties, I felt like I really noticed that the Spanish team, their manager was kind of, obviously very passionate and chatting to them and trying to, instill that belief in them. But I feel like Sarina was just calm. It was the team talking more than she was. And I think that comes back to your point of, just keep doing what you're doing, keep going. And there's not really that much more probably that Sarina can do at that point. Like you said, she's had her night's sleep, knowing that she's put in all the process goals.
Trusting them.
Exactly, trusting the process, trusting the team, because, you can't really do that much, can you, on the day?
No, and it's an interesting lesson in leadership, because I think, like, in that environment, she can't actually get on the pitch. She can't take, like, the next free kick or take the pens eventually. She's got to trust that she's done everything and that it's with them. Whereas in the work context, sometimes we can get back involved because it's like, oh, right, well, I have to do it now. Let me get stuck in. But actually, like, she can't do it. She's just got to trust that they've got it and they've got to believe that. And they did have it.
Yeah, so true. So thinking, again, kind of following on from that thread about what we can learn from Sarina maybe in a work context, that's one really good point that's been highlighted by you already, Em. Sometimes as a leader, we might feel that itch to jump back in if a project's not going so well.
Yeah.
And of course, sometimes that is the right decision because the team might need a bit more support, and we are in a position where we probably can jump in and offer that support more hands-on. But what else can we learn from her? There's so much.
There's so much.
There's a lot. I think one thing she does very well is she speaks to the players, and if she's not getting the right results, she'll kind of question it more, but letting them figure it out by themselves. So she's kind of like not projecting, but really giving them the space to work out their own answers. And they're empowered. And then you see that when they come on the pitch, and she believes in them and she has full trust in her players. And they do, I think, genuinely, you can see by the way the team's bonded, you can see by the way the team like plays together, they genuinely are great friends, but they also know where people are going to be, and they all believe in each other. And I think that's like the positive encouragement of like, if someone messes up, sometimes you can see it in their face, like a player kind of walks away, you see it in like Kira Walsh's face, sometimes it's like, but she doesn't say that, she turns her back and then makes that face. And I think it's just, I think that's their whole team altogether is like, there's complete trust, and it's like, you're allowed to make mistakes, but it's how you come back from it that matters. And I think she just leads by example. Really,
Like there's so, like the trust, they're empowered. They're like, she's built a team that respect each other and realize like the role that they play will effectively make them successful as a collective. I think a really interesting one to take it away, possibly a little, so Sarina is one of the best in the world, and the FA pay a lot of money for her to perform as the best in the world. I think it says a lot about investing in people and development, to bring it back to our context.
Yeah.
Like, women's football only became professional in 2018 in this country. And like a handful of players became professional to have like a setup like Arsenal. And it's still light years behind where the men are at. And have the men brought home a trophy recently? It was also banned for 50 years in this country. So from 1921 to 1971. It shows that if you put money into something and you back it and you give them resources, like we often don't talk about, when they're in Switzerland, they had one of the best hotels. They had a barista. They had a dog to make them feel at home. Like Michelle had a piano that she could play and relax. Lauren Hemp built like a Lego castle. Like no expense was spared on this team performing. And that's what happens when you do invest. When you give them the right environment, the right leadership, the right resources, they will go and fulfill their potential. And the rest of the world are catching up in women's football. But I think it just shows that when you do invest in your people with the right things, what it goes on to achieve and how happy and inspirational it makes the rest of not just the UK and England, but the world, like seeing them succeed as just normal, everyday people, it feels like.
Yeah, for sure. The other thing that sometimes occurs to me when we talk about high-performing teams, because we use sports teams often when we're talking about in a workshop, you know, what's an example of a great high-performing team? And often sports teams are, if we are going by Katzenbach and Smith's definition, they care about each other outside of work. They've obviously all got one shared goal to win the game or to win the tournament. So it's really relatable in that context. But I think what is interesting about football teams or sports teams is that they have a manager who is dedicated to managing. Sarina's one job is to manage the team. She doesn't have the day job getting in the way. Like you say, she can't jump in on the pitch. And I think often in the world of work, our managers, whilst, you know, they can be the best manager in the world, but their only job isn't to manage us or to manage the team. They've got their own responsibilities to be getting on with as well. And the thing that we find often managers struggle with the most is how do you balance that?
Such a great point.
And and it's kind of linked to your point about resource and investing. Is it a lesson that we can take away? Should we have people managers
stop doing the doing,
who are just people managers and who are just committed to dedicating their time to building up the team and putting their all into that?
Yeah. It's fact because I think, within so many organisations that we chat to, the management piece or the leadership piece is in addition to still doing the doing. But Sarina is no longer doing the doing. No. She's no longer playing. She's no longer doing the fitness, putting her boots on, getting out on the pitch. She's doing the managing and leading of that team. So it's a very interesting question to pose that, like, should we try and enforce a bit more of that? I'm sure maybe it can take over 100%, but there's at least more of an equal weighting on people management and leadership versus still doing the doing. Yeah.
Thanks, Queen Sarina. Very inspirational.
I want a banknote.
Honestly,
not that we use any of those anymore, but
stamps.
We need that.
She is,
She'd look great on a stamp.
She'd look great on a stamp.
So just to close us out then, what was your favourite celebration? What's been your favourite moment post-win that you've seen? Spoken about Burner Boy already. That was a real highlight.
That was the collab we didn't know we needed, right?
Do you know what?
Sarina knowing every word.
She was on it as soon as he came on that stage.
Then we did see her less composed. She really did celebrate, which I loved. She's so real.
Even her hair always up when she's managing. And then Burner Boy's out on the stage, she's celebrating.
Literally letting her hair down.
Exactly.
Wow.
Seeing Ella Toon on the karaoke, thought that was entertaining.
Look, she can sing.
She can sing.
I watched that video so many times. I was like, Ella, like, you can sing.
Fullback career.
Honestly.
I think a few stats to throw out there. 3 years ago, we won the Euros and 7,000 people showed up for the celebrations. This year we won and 65,000 people showed up for the celebrations.
Really?
It was the most watched moment on TV so far this year in 2025. So I think for me, the celebrations of them all having a fantastic time is brilliant.
Yes.
But also the effect that it's having on society. Yeah. How many people are chatting to I don't know, people congratulated me on Monday like I'd won. But I think it's just because I talk about it so much that they knew I would be excited. But just the amount of people that know about the success and inspiring little girls now that are looking up and being I could actually do that. It's now a job. This job role has been created in my lifetime. And there are people being whether it's going on to be a footballer, but just knowing that you can go on and live out whatever you see as your dream. They've made the impossible possible. like within my lifetime. So
Yeah.
go and do whatever you want to do, because they are showing that you can.
Yeah.
Great note to end it on.
I know, I say that's perfect.
So inspired right now. Well, watchers, listeners, thank you so much for joining us for this very special case study episode, I'd say, on the Lionesses and, of course, Queen Sarina as well. If you liked this episode, please do make sure that you like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.